How many times do you think I watched that?
3?
2, 1. It's the Shant and Ari podcast, you guys. Episode number 70. Holy fuck.
It's a lot of episodes.
It's a lot of episodes. Shant, how you feeling, big guy?
Uh, Feeling good. For everyone wondering what Adi was talking about, my son beats me up, man.
Love it.
Kid is abusive, bro.
What'd you do to him?
No, but the kid, he's 6 months old now, and dude, he just like loves swinging. He loves like fighting, like kicking, like, and not like, like they kick and like flail their arms. Not like he like legit hooks, like he kicks with intent. And I'm like, the kid's gonna be a UFC fighter or something, because he is just relentless, man. And he loves it. He like laughs at you, and he hits you and laughs at you.
It's fucking great, man. One day you're gonna turn around, he's gonna fucking nail you in the face.
I'm just mad I can't hit him back right now. I have to wait till he's like 17, 18. I could really start like fighting him.
Says who?
American culture.
Okay. So yeah, it was the second time I had to get a root canal procedure done. Last week I went in for the first part. Today I went in for the second part. You might not be able to tell, but I'm in some pain right now.
Got to keep up on your dental, man. It's very important, everybody. Adi, I want to hear. So we are January 20th, right? Over half the first month of the year is gone. I want to hear about what has been going on, what's new, what's cracking, what's sparking, what's going on. And also we're going to talk today about making business decisions or making big life decisions from your gut, your mind, or your heart, because you have gone through an experience. And I think it'd be good to talk about it and kind of go over how do you kind of make big business or life decisions. But yeah, tell me about what's going on, man. I haven't talked to you in so long, I feel like.
It was last week, same time, same day, same everything. It was literally a week ago. So been very, very organized these past few weeks. Very proud to say I've been keeping up with journaling, keeping up with waking up very early for my standards every single day since like December 25th. I made a promise to myself that I would wake up early, organize my thoughts, do my YouTube stuff in the mornings, and just not have anything to do when I got home from work. I wouldn't work after work anymore, if you will. And that's really,
That's big for you.
yeah, it's starting to change my life quite a bit.
If you guys like, people are like, oh, okay, like, oh, you're so cool, Adi. Like, what do you mean? Adi, for the past like 5 years I've known you, you work till like 1 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
That's every day.
Yeah, I'd grind, man.
And it's not like trying to be cool, like you grind. I'm not trying to like fucking pump you up right now. You literally like had a stupid schedule and you worked late for no reason.
It was intense.
And now you shifted it.
Yeah, so instead of getting out of work at 8 and then working until like 1, now I start at like 6, and I cut down a lot of my workload by giving up the whole negotiation aspect of my company. Now I'm just doing a lot of consulting work plus YouTube. YouTube in itself has become like a full-time job. So anyway, long story short, I've completely shifted my schedule around, and I'm still sleeping sort of late, like at like 11.
Okay.
It's not as late as it was before, but there's no wasted time throughout the day. Not saying that there was a whole shitload of it before, but there wasn't any like 12:30, 1 a.m. just thumbing through Instagram. Like at 10 p.m. I'm just shot and I need to just pass out.
Yeah.
So very, very proud to say that I've really, really started to organize my machine, my system. Now, speaking of getting sort of organized and whatnot, you were telling me that you were going to start journaling again, and you got laid off right before the new year. So, can you tell me a little bit about what organization looks like for you right now? Not trying to be a
Yeah.
wise ass or
So
anything.
what?
I'm not trying to be a wise ass or anything. Just curious, like what the reciprocal of this conversation looks
Yeah.
like.
So since December 21st, so a couple days before you, I've been back to journaling every day. I haven't missed a day. So it's been a month journaling every day, reading a book, 10 pages every day. Haven't missed a day. Um, I'm doing like a light little workout in the morning at home, like a nice stretch, kind of push-ups, sit-ups kind of deal, just to like get the blood flowing. And I've just stuck to that little routine every day. I still got to go to a fucking gym, man. I'm looking for a new gym. The one that I go to is like 15, 20 minutes away. It's annoying. So I'm just trying to find something close by that's actually decent. And I've gotten back to just sticking to my old schedule, except for the waking up at 4 a.m. of just trying to sell houses, trying to find clients, worrying about trying to find another project to purchase. So it's just like I'm back. So it was weird. So Betty said this, and we'll talk about it real quick. So while I was like working for the company, I kind of stopped taking care of myself, right? Like the reading, the journaling, the listening to shit every day. And Betty, like, when I got laid off, she's like, this kind of good. Cause she's like, you kind of stopped working on yourself the past year.
Why do you think that is?
I think comfort. Cause like you kind of have a job, you're kind of set, right? So I fell into comfort. Now with this, it's like back to zero. It's all on me, right? With whatever I produce, it's all on me. It has nothing to do with anyone else. So it's like back to trying to work on myself. Does that make sense?
It makes a whole lot of sense. Now, there's a lot of pressure that comes with that. Do you think that the pressure has a lot to do with when you're working for yourself, you've got to find a way to manage the pressure?
Yeah, there is a lot of pressure, but I, I'm not trying to show off or anything, but I told Betty, I was like, I'm kind of fucking hyped. She's like, why? I'm like, I'm starting from zero. And it's like, I want to see if I could prove myself I could do it again. Like,
Of course
like,
you.
it's fucking, I'm pumped. No, I know I can, but it's like, I just want to prove it again to myself. Like, it doesn't matter what I do. I could just come back and do what I do. And it's just like, it's just, I kind of want to open up a restaurant just to prove to myself that I can. Something I know nothing about.
Like an actual sit down restaurant? Because I would strongly advise against.
Well, I'd be calling you for advice a lot on the
Yeah.
whole restaurant business, but I want to do some stupid shit like that just to see if I could do it.
Well,
Speaking of
I
restaurant,
I've I would strongly advise against doing anything in the food business right now. However, I'm happy you think that way. That's a good way of thinking. Um,
it's a good time to
I
buy a best. It's a good time to buy a restaurant right now because you could buy it for cheap. It's unfortunate. I would hate to be that person, and I'm not in no position to buy a restaurant. I don't want to buy a restaurant, but just in general, it's probably a good time to buy a good big name restaurant that just has lost a lot of money because of stupid shutdowns.
right. Oh yeah, 100%. So I right now I'm constantly looking at places that are shut down now due to COVID, and there's a lot of opportunities out there. It's a matter of how much balls you have to take the opportunities. I mean, there's a lot of different, and I'm sure it's like this in the real estate market too. There's a lot of different opportunities you can pounce on. Um, the real issue is whether or not you can weather the storm right now, weather the storm that brought you that opportunity, and
Mm-hmm.
not even just so much weather the storm, but see that the opportunity that you're taking doesn't have any hidden traps in it. As in, you're not just taking advantage of an opportunity during a really shitty time, but you're realizing why that opportunity is there to begin with. It during a time like this is very, very difficult to think logically. Now, the place that I was hoping to call, Ani location number 2 was picture perfect. The reason why the business didn't work out for the people before it was that it was a very specialty business. It was a gluten-free, dessert shop, and it had just opened up during COVID. That is a very, very difficult business to open up during, even not during COVID, but it opened up right before COVID. So anyway, long story short, it shut down, but it had a ton of equipment all ready to go at zero cost. Everything was already, done, ready to go for me. Then started doing all the paperwork and talking to the town, etc. Everything was a go.
You're like excited. You have like your the next 5 moves planned out. You're thinking like the you're I'm guessing you're envisioning like people coming through the door, the customers, the system you have, the place laid out how you want it painted, right? Like you have all this in your mind.
Yeah. I'm already thinking about what day I want to do for the grand opening, and um, I'm even drawing up different systems to lay out for future other locations, as in how we can improve our production schedule, our storage, our just everything. And everything about this place was green light, green light, green light, green light, green light, until the most irritating part of the process kept becoming more and more irritating as I was dealing with her, and that was the landlord of the place. And she kept on setting different conditions on me. We would come to agreements on particular things, and then something else would pop up in a text message saying something completely different. And finally, it came to a point where she started negotiating things in the lease where it would make it very, very difficult for me to succeed later on. One of which is, raising the rent after 5 years to something that I have no control over. Basically, I'd have to either start a new lease or leave the place that I just spent the last 5 years developing.
So
And
yeah, I want to let me clarify for some people because you're hitting it. I want to. So you got the agreement going with the landlord. She put a 5-year lease in place for this place that you're gonna to open up the restaurant in, and usually in a commercial lease like a restaurant or something like that, you would want to guarantee that it's not just a 5-year lease and then it's like, oh, it's not like you're living in it where you could go find something else. This is like you're building a business, recognition, branding, marketing, where people are coming here for you. You can't just after 5 years pick up and go somewhere else.
not at all.
So, so you're saying she gave you no guarantees? So, because like a typical thing would be like 5 plus 5, like you mentioned before the podcast, and the rent. If you guys both decide to release after 5 years, it'd be another 5 years at a market rate or something like that with inflation. But she basically gave you no option at the end of the 5-year lease which would screw you because at the end of the 5-year lease, she could say, let's just say your rent was 5,000 a month. She could say now it's 10,000 or
Exactly.
15,000.
Exactly. And that was rubbing me all in a very, very wrong way. And it was completely outside of my control how to. I basically have to worry now about, making sure that the business, first of all, doesn't fail. And then, second of all, worry that in 5 years, I may have to find a completely new location for this business. Everything else
So,
felt so right, though.
so was it hard for you in that sense? You're locked in mentally, emotionally, like you're telling people, you told me, I'm sure you're telling friends,
Oh, yeah.
family members,
Because I wanted to
you're
get
excited.
opinions.
Yeah, but like you start talking about something. Now, was it an easy decision for you to be like, nope, either my terms, like this term, or no? Or was it like, could you have seen yourself falling into the trap because you loved it so much to kind of talk yourself into it by saying, well, she'll be fine. At the end of 5 years, we'll figure something out because we're going to be paying. She doesn't want to lose us. Like, were you trying to talk yourself into it, or were you like, because that's something that a lot of people I think would do. I think I might have. Or were you like, nope, I'm out?
It's very, very easy to rationalize about something like this. And it's very, very tough to give something like this up, especially when everything else is perfect. But,
Yeah, I remember we talked about it.
right. Like when I tell you, Shant, that I've got like a very, very strong gut, if my gut is telling me no, it's very important, especially if you've been there before, to trust your gut. I could have possibly left one of the greatest deals at the very least for the next 5 years. I could have left it, and I could have made a big mistake. But just knowing that my future, the future of my business or part of it, is left up to the hands of some lady who could give a shit less, um, it would have been a complete disaster. Now, I'm still actively looking for another place, and I'm still very much actively working using the momentum that I built up going into, or right when I was about to go into the second location. And I've been reading a lot and listening to a lot of audiobooks on leadership and how to
Mhm.
inspire others working under you to implement that same leadership. And believe it or not, Sean, I've learned so much just today. So imagine this for a second. Imagine for a second a boss that doesn't really pay much attention to you at all. He's not a dick, but he just doesn't give you any attention during work. Apparently, if your boss doesn't pay attention to you, you are 40% more likely to underperform at work because your boss doesn't care about you.
Mhm.
Similarly, if you just go so far as to tell somebody or ask one of your employees, how is your day going? They are 20 times more likely to look out for your business that day when you're not there. As in, check, if I don't know, if something needs to be just general, um, general housekeeping, making sure that the sidewalk was clean when you walked, just picking up trash, like just looking out for your best interest. So, reading about all these statistics has brought upon a lot of change at our store this past week, 2 weeks, and I've been getting into a habit of checking in on my employees more and more and wanting to develop a system for accountability at the store, and not even just at the store, but just in anything that I do. Like give somebody an incentive for wanting to work with me and an incentive for employees to want to finish tasks. There's just a crazy world that I haven't tapped into yet in the realm of management and leadership.
Yeah, that's sick, man. I don't think a lot of people who are in leadership positions, whether you're a manager, supervisor, I don't think they take the time and effort to like learn how to like improve, or a CEO of a company or owner of a business. And I think like a lot of times it's very simple, right? I don't know, like I don't have employees, so I'm just kind of talking as being an employee. I've been an employee. It's very simple. Like how, when you were an employee, how did you like to be led? Right? Everyone's a little bit different, right? But while you were talking, because you kind of sparked some stuff, a couple of things came to mind that I think employees want and like. Everyone's a little bit different though. Some people like culture, right? They want a good atmosphere when they come to work, right? Like when someone's coming in doing the same thing every day and it's fucking boring, like there's only so much you could get out of that person, I think, right?
Absolutely.
Uh, Another thing is certainty. People want to know, like, for certain that, like, they're going to be here. They're not, like, always look down and, like, they're going to get fired, or, like, always the boss is looking for something to get at. So you've been around those bosses that are people are, they're always just looking for something you did wrong. And then you don't feel certainty about the place. And now you're not going to go all in. Um, Another way is compensation, right? A comp plan, like you said. Is it just, this is, and every position for companies are different, right? Like this is probably more for like a sales, like if you had salespeople under you, like a compensation plan. Is it bringing out their best? Because at the end of the day, money talks. And is that compensation plan, is that going to get the most out of people? And last, what I came up with is a way to grow within the company, right? Is there a way for your employees, some of your employees, to work up the ladder, right? You have this vision now of growing this organization, this chain of restaurants. Are you putting that vision with these people and saying, hey, like, you stick with me? And I'm sure they believe in you. You guys stick with me. Like, there's rooms for you. There's room for you guys to come up with me, right?
Right. Right. I'm trying to figure out what the best incentivizing pathway is for our company and how to make sure that they stay. I'm really loving thinking about these things, thinking about what would work best for us, and performance based bonuses like this day. If we make this much money, you get a percentage of it. Just making people want to never miss work, pretty much.
Yeah. Yeah. Like they
Um,
don't want to give up that money.
right.
Like they like going there. They enjoy it. They're telling their friends. They're like, hey, I have friends. Like, if you're not getting people telling you, like, hey, I have a friend that is looking for a job. Like, do we have anything? Like, you're probably not running a great organization if you're not having your employees want their friends to come work with them.
Right. I was just thinking about that. Like, how could I make it so that it's just easy to find new people to come in and work? So lots of different ideas come about when you have the time to sort of organize your thoughts and thinking about to-do lists and stuff like that. It's become a very very strong habit of mine to write down and work on different things that I need to get done, even if they're minuscule little things. These are definitely ways that have got me to really sit down and think about what it is that our restaurant needs in order to be able to scale. Very very thankful to you, Shant, for getting me onto this. But long story short, though, what what the books have been telling me is more than just management and leadership. It's listening to people and listening to their advice, and more than just listening to their advice, it's listening to what they have to say. This is not a good quality of mine. I don't have this. I've been told before, just shut the fuck up and just listen. When did you get so good at listening to people?
Yeah, I'm pretty good at it. I realized at a young age that people love to listen to themselves speak and listen to themselves talk. And I've realized people have their own ideas, and I am not going to change their idea for the most part, right? So me trying to interrupt and trying to like put my ideas into your ideas is never going to work. And what I've realized is if you just shut up and let people talk and you just listen, um, people like you more because unfortunately a lot of people are very selfish and they want to talk about themselves, not because it's a bad thing. I'm just saying they just want to talk about themselves. And when they're able to just vent and you don't say anything, people are like, damn, Sean's a great guy, man. He's so cool. It's like I haven't said anything.
Why do
You know,
you think that is?
I don't know, man. I just noticed it. I don't know. It's a good question. Why is that? I have no idea, but I've noticed that people tend to like me because I let them talk, and people don't even know a lot about me in these situations, but they're just like, damn, Sean's a great guy, man. He's a fucking gem. I'm like, okay.
And you didn't know this from a book. You just realized this that, hey, the interaction seems to go very, very well when I just sit down and just listen to what they say. And later on in life, you found out that this is an actual, like, a tactic of people to get, like, I'm sure you read the book, How to Win Friends and Influence
I couldn't
People.
get through it. I couldn't get through the Audible. I got to read it. The Audible was rough. But also I kind of like, I enjoy listening to people like vent, talk about their problems, um, hearing about their story. Like you telling me about your story about the lease, and like I love hearing, like it's just fucking awesome. Like I love, it's like a drama to me, right? So it's just like I like, I truly enjoy, I think, listen, like getting to know about a person.
So this, what you're discussing, I think I don't have it naturally. It comes off a little bit pretentiously when I'm doing it, and it seems like I'm a little bit like a little bit fake,
You've
salesy.
gotten better at it. You've gotten better at it.
I've been making more and more, and as genuine as I could possibly be about it, it still comes off a little bit fake because it's not like I'm trying to get
So
myself
you,
to want to
uh,
find out about you, you know, like, oh, tell me about that. Yes. Oh my God. You know, it's not like, oh, like very like genuinely concerned, like, oh my God, really? Like,
so you're not at the guy at the party, well, pre-COVID, where you're standing next to someone. It's like, so how you doing?
yeah, how's biz? Oh yeah. Why is that? You know, it's just, I- I'm slowly bringing these questions, these probing questions, um, naturally in conversation. Not probing in a bad way, just like asking questions about the other person naturally, not like thinking about it, like, shut up, don't say I know, don't say me too, just ask, oh wow, can you tell me more about it? So um so same
So
thing with conversations with people. It's almost the same thing with leadership. It's really, really developing your ability to get them to like you the same way that you're getting your employees and stuff to like you. A lot of these traits we've lost over the years, especially during the past year. We're losing our ability to even get people to like us because we're not even around people anymore.
yeah, bro, it was kind of awkward. We were at a we had a big New Year's party, um, and there was like a random couple there that just came in, friend of a friend, and he's just sitting there, and I'm like, hey, man. He's like, hey, I'm like, what's up? Like, I just didn't know what the fuck to say. I
What's
haven't
her
spoke
name?
like I haven't been around people. I was just like, "Where are you from?" He's like, "Chicago." I'm like, "Cool, cool, cold, huh?"
Windy. Windy
so,
over there.
so talking the Bears, and Michael Jordan, right?
Nice.
So, do you? Because it's hard, man. Like when you're, I don't have employees, so I could only imagine. Like when you have employees, like it's hard because I think you're stressed out. Not you, I'm saying people in general will be stressed out because their livelihood is all dependent on you, right? So you're more stressed. You come into this thing, you're a little bit more stressed. So now you're bringing that energy on them. Not saying you, just a lot of bosses. Now, do you think it's a good idea, and do you think employees would be honest if you ask them for feedback on how you're managing them, how you're leading them, how boss you are? Would you like to see different?
Unbelievable that you just asked this question, bro. Because the past 2 weeks, I've been trying to get them to give me pointers as to what could possibly be changed. And guess what, Shant? You're not going to fucking believe it. I asked them, you saw how crazy it was last night, right? And they're like, yeah, it was wild. It was intense. It got intense. I'm like, what could we have possibly done to have made it a little bit smoother? Should we maybe do 2 pots of rice at the same time next time instead of just starting it when we're getting low? Do you think maybe we
But
should keep?
is that you trying to tell them your answer, or are you?
No, I'm just
See,
genuinely curious.
that came off to me as like you want to know, but you're kind of telling them what the answer should be.
Yeah, like yeah and no. Like I'm just merely suggesting things that like maybe I thought of on the ride here that maybe you should be thinking you should probably agree to and do it.
See, that to me, I'd feel some type of way.
No, 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 no. I didn't like it wasn't like a suggestion based, but like what do you think? Um so they this particular person and no coincidence the other one did too, but this particular person said nothing, everything, like she appreciated the fact that I asked her, but she goes like, no, no, nothing, don't worry, like it's very busy, it gets like that sometimes, don't worry, like we'll like we pulled through, we just gotta hustle, like she's just like, don't worry, like we're doing everything we can, right, don't worry about it. And then like 15-20 minutes later I see like she's just doing extra work, you
Hmm.
know and like she's suggesting to the other new guy that just started working what to do and like trying to like teach him how to do things. I'm like, wait a second, what the fuck is going on? Why is she all of a sudden like putting in overtime right now?
Yeah.
So I don't know if this is just in work, but I feel like when you tell somebody or you value somebody's opinion by asking for their opinion or asking for sort of for their help, bro, I feel like their potential just doubles on you all of a
Yeah.
sudden.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it's 100% true, and it's just good. Let me ask you a question. Do you get a lot of drama from your employees?
Between employees or between them and me?
Between employees,
Before I did.
what
Before.
changed, and how did you do anything to change it, um, or like
It's
what?
time.
Again,
It's all time. And a lot of it has to do with communication. If I feel like So employees feel some type of way in between each other based off of what the relationship is like between them and managers, as in me or my father. So if
Mm-hmm.
I have a good relationship with one employee and sort of a normal one with another, these two employees now don't like each other because they feel like there's an air of favoritism. So
Hmm.
what I'll do to counteract this, if I feel like this is becoming a thing, what I'll do is with the person that I have a normal relationship with, I'll like give more attention to in front of the other employee, so as to like equalize them. But sort of, why are you asking this? Are you sort of just curious? Because I was about to ask you, like, what about in the real estate scenarios? How do you flip the script onto clients? Do you flip the script? Do you ask them questions, autobiographical, if you will, questions, like spill your whole life story onto me so I can get your trust? Do you think that that has positively impacted your business at all? And do you
Yeah.
suggest that a lot of people do that?
So that's a good question. So the reason I'll get into your question in a second, but the reason I asked about the dramas because I used to be a manager, supervisor before I got into real estate, and I fucking hated. And this is why I probably will not be running a big organization with like a lot of employees, probably anywhere in the near future, is because like people used to come to me with drama. Oh, thing said this, Jen said this. I'm like, I don't fucking care. Like, like we're all adults here. Like, why are like, what do you care? She said this about what you're wearing. Like, who gives a fuck? Like, do you see me? I'm the boss here. Do I give a fuck? No. So why do you give a fuck about a random person telling you this? Why are you coming to me with this? It's lunchtime. I'm about to eat. So that's why I asked. I want to see how you how you handle that because I did not handle it
I
really
kind of,
well.
it depends how busy I am that day. I usually, I don't like drama if I'm very, very busy, but then when I'm not so busy, I kind of like, what, she called you fat earlier too, just so you know. Instigate more drama.
Yeah. Because like I'll think because Betty works from home and she's a manager. I don't know what the hell she is. She's something. She has people under her, and something. When I'm home, I hear her working and drama happens, and I hear her. She's like handling it really like. I'm just sitting here. I'm like, oh my god, I'd fucking shoot myself if I have to go through. And she's like doing it. She's like handling it. I'm just like, God bless you, man, because I cannot do that. So let's move on to how to like do I do the same spiel to real
Yeah,
estate
yeah.
clients? So I've learned this like through trial and error and going through it is I try to like the people who have bought or sold a home in the past, I really ask them like, hey, what in the past did you like about your agent? Like what did they do really good? Like what was the things that you were like, shit, this is like I want this again. And I take mental notes. And then they're like, I say, what did you not like about, the service? Like what were the things that you're like, shit, I do not want this ever again because I don't want to do that, right? For people who haven't bought and sold, I kind of ask like, when we're kind of in discussing the business relationship right up front, I'm like, what are your expectations, right? Because I give them kind of an outline of what I'm going to do, right? This is the stuff that I do for clients. Boom, boom, boom. You know, um, what do you expect out of me, right? Because this happened to me when I didn't do that up front, and a client got pissed at me throughout the process. She just kept getting pissed at me, and I'm like, "What the fuck is going?" Like, just always, something. And then she's like, "I don't like that you don't go preview homes before we go look at them." And I'm like, lady, like, I can't go look at 10 homes before I show you like every time. Like I'm one person. I have like, I can't do that. And she's like, well, that's what I need. I'm like, okay, well, she fired me, I fired her, and we just went our separate ways. But like, I didn't ask her like, what are you expecting from me? So I try to ask, what are you expecting from me? What do you want out of me? Because if it's something crazy, I can't do it, right? Um, my other client was like, he had a listing, I wanted the listing. He's like, hey, I am out of town a lot. I leave um, for work, business trips, but I have a dog at home. I don't have a sitter. If there's a showing, I'm not here. You have to come and walk the dog because you can't have the dog in the house.
Right.
And he, it's a 55-minute drive from my house, the listing. I was like, but that expectation was up front. It was a big commission. So I was like, okay, I'll do it. And he's like, you will? I was like, yeah, if not me, I'm like, I'll have someone come out and do it. He's like, okay. So I'd pay someone every time a showing would happen to go up, walk the dog, the agent would show. But so it's just like communication, man. Like that's how I kind of build their trust is because I tell them what I'm going to do and I want to know what they want out of me. And if I can't do it, that's kind of, did I answer your question?
Yeah. No. Do you purposely suck up in the way that you purposely ask them
Okay.
what they're all about?
Yes, I do.
Not suck up, get their
Yeah,
trust.
yeah, no. No, what I do is I try to, this is why I do that. And it's intentional, but not in a sleazy way. I this is a person that's using me to buy or sell a house, right? They don't know me. I'm a fucking stranger to them, right? For the most part, unless it's a friend or something, I am a stranger. So they're always so uncomfortable in the beginning. I'm out showing houses. It's just like, oh, okay, it's nice, right? So like I used to get that so much in the beginning where it's just like it would be so awkward. The first like five houses you're looking with someone, it's like, okay. And I'm like, what the fuck do I like? So what I started doing is just like I would just try to like ask them so many questions and just like get them to like talk about something just so the awkwardness would go away and just be like, hey, so like not even about house, like so like what do you guys do? Like, oh, I'm an engineer. Oh, where? Like for what? What company? And I just try to like get them to break down. It's just because it's better for everyone. I'm not trying to do it to like have them trust me so I could sell them a house. They're gonna want the house, whether I'm not selling someone on a house. So I do that so the awkwardness is gone and they could really start opening up and tell me like, hey, because a lot of people feel awkward to tell me like, Sean, I hate this fucking house. But they'd feel awkward. But I'm like, I don't own this. It's not my house. But since they don't know me well enough, they're just like, oh, it's nice. Every house we go to, it's nice, but you don't want a fucking house. Well, what is it? But it's like they're too uncomfortable to tell me this fucking sucks. So I try to get that out of them right away by just listening more, asking questions, not talking about myself. And then they're more open and we walk in like, this house sucks. I'm like, yeah, it does. Let's get the fuck out of here.
So, like, a real estate agent's greatest asset is somebody that they sold a house to, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so my greatest asset are the people that know how to roll sandwiches and grill meats. That's my greatest asset. So, is
Which is
it,
not easy.
huh?
It's not easy. It's
It's
not
not.
easy.
It is not. So could it be? Is it a safe bet to say that your clients, in essence, work for you? You in
No,
particular, not in general.
no, I feel like I work for them. But no, that's a good question because I have to lead the process.
Is it safe to say that in some way, shape, or form that they have some impact on your future income and your long-term success?
Well, yes, but actually, I do feel like they work for me, right? Because I have to be, I'm the expert in this field. So it's like I have to be in charge of, okay, your expectations, what you want. Okay. I have to be in charge of your mortgage guy. I have to be in charge of the title person, the inspection person. I'm pulling all the strings.
Right.
So I do feel like, but they could fire me. So I don't know. Are they the boss? They are the boss.
So a lot of the times when I'm looking at both customers and employees, I always think to myself, why am I constantly in this middle position of needing to satisfy both customer and employee?
Yeah,
Why? It's
that's interesting.
because as an entrepreneur, you are constantly the middleman for the buyer and the seller.
Yeah, you're right. That's what, yeah.
A very, very good leader will be very, very good at satisfying both the people he is leading and the people that he is, um, quote unquote, fighting against, which is the people he's trying to sell. So you really do. You need a good team. And that team is comprised of people that work for you and the people that you are working for. Um, there is no, your customer and your employee are the same exact effect on your long-term
Yeah.
success. And how I've been looking at these sort of couple audiobooks, the 7 habits of highly effective people and leaders eat last, is that as a leader, as a good business person, as a good business owner, as a good salesperson, etc., you are very much responsible for the happiness of not only just your customer, but of your employees if you are hoping for any sort of long term success. And it all starts with you when you walk in
Hmm.
that door to work. So, how you, Shant, differ when you went into work for corporate real estate versus how you do when you work for yourself is that you go in and your mood depends largely on your bosses, right? But when you go into work, your success it largely depends on your mood when you woke up that day. So it was just a natural reaction, according to the book, Leaders Eat Last, because you were not the leader.
Yeah.
They say that leaders generally have a little bit higher life expectancy because there's less stress being put on them in the later years of their life. There's more stress being put on their subordinates than there is
Hmm.
on them. Heart disease, stress
Yeah.
related illnesses, cancer, etc. It gets transferred to their subordinates.
Wow.
That would have been you working for company.
Corporate.
Mhm.
Wow.
Leaders. It's it's a good thing. It's a good thing to be a very, very good leader, an effective leader, because not only are you an effective leader, you're an effective business person as well when you're both. You gotta do both. You can't just worry about your customer. You gotta worry about your employee.
Wow. I actually learned a little something right there, and that's good. I like that. Quick question.
Yeah.
Did the lady who was writing, who did not want to extend the lease, did she say why she wouldn't? Did you ask her? What was her reason?
She didn't have a reason. It's not even so much that I didn't ask her why. She said I when I said I am going to need a 5 with an option for 5, she said I wish you the best of luck.
Wow. So that wasn't even on the tape. Like that was just like a.
She wanted to be a wise ass, and she thought that
Was there a lot of angst built up before that? Like negotiate? Was there a lot of back and forth?
yeah,
And I was like,
oh yeah, there was a lot of raising my tone. I flipped out once on a conversation because she it was like the third time that she forgot that she said something. She's a fucking moron. So I couldn't deal with it anymore. I swear to God, I just couldn't deal with it.
okay, so it's not like it was all rosy, and then you're just she gave you the terms. You're like, oh, I'm looking for a 5x5. You said, well, good luck, because then it's like, wait, what the? So
Yeah, like
this was like
where'd
a
that
long
come
time coming.
from?
Okay,
No, no, there was a lot
okay.
of back
I
and
was
forth.
wondering.
So she didn't realize what a great tenant she's missing out on. But it's okay. It's not a good fit. And when it's not a good fit, Sean,
That's,
it's not a
I
good
hope she gets less in rent.
Hope she gets fucking decked in the face by her next landlord or by her next tenant.
Should I send Leo over there?
Yeah, that's great. Fucking puke
All
on her
right,
while you're at it, Leo.
it's time for you to go to bed.
That's right. I got to wake up early tomorrow. So good talk. Good talk. All right. Well, good night, Shant.
Good night, everyone. See you next week.